becoming right now at this point that will pull you back to your purpose?
Absolutely. And when you keep reminding yourself, you are guided towards, you're guided towards what you want in life. And
Right.
this brings me to another thing. A lot of people used to question themselves, like, why are they with this way? I think the first biggest change which helped me understand self love better was when I replaced why with what. Hi,
Where do we
Asha.
start? Hi.
So let's start with hugging ourselves. So,
Yeah.
so I mean, I really love the concept of midwife. Firstly, like the whole idea, and I keep on following you a lot. So
Thank
today
you.
I am with you. We are here talking about self love, and the first question which I want to ask you is how to accept ourselves as we are. And how is that acceptance of self different from loving ourselves?
That's a very, very, very prevalent question that even I get asked. And because the thing is, people sort of feel that मैं अपने आप को accept कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है, I know I have these flaws, but I don't know how to love myself, right? And I personally feel that accepting yourself is a prerequisite to loving yourself. Okay, let me give you an example from my own life, if I have to put it that way. Uh, when I started the midwife, I knew what flaws I had. I knew what gaps I had. So I embraced it all. I accepted it. But I didn't know if I was worthy enough to start something of my own, which points out that I didn't love myself enough to be able to be more confident to start something of my own, right? And I think the very important point is that you need to understand that why is it that someone feels that they are not loved, they do not love themselves. There are two reasons behind this, according to me. I've like categorized it into parts. One is when you feel that you have set your standards so high yourself because you see something on the media, social media, like you see someone on Instagram who has it all, and you're just like, yeah, मुझे ऐसा बनना है, वरना I'm not enough, right? You see something on movies, you read something on books, you see something in your newspaper, and you feel like I'm not enough because I haven't reached it. Like I haven't reached that
That
point.
level. Mhm.
Yeah. So you sort of set your own standards, and then you feel like जब तक मैं tick off ना कर दूँ इन सब में, I'm not enough. So maybe I'm not worthy of that self love that I should be in because I'm not enough. Or the second sort of people are people who somewhere know that they do have the potential, but the people around them or the environment is such that it's not conducive for them to believe that they have it all fully. So let me give you my own example. I'm in the second category. I always knew that I somewhere have it in me. Somewhere. I can't say with full confidence. I couldn't say with full confidence then that I have it in me. I can't say it with full confidence now also that at that time whether I had it in me or not. But it's just that you sort of, as a kid, I was always this very bubbly, cheerful person, okay? And everybody cherished that silly, stupid aura that I always had, always jumping around, playing around. But I didn't know that that was coming at its own price because people didn't see me seriously. They didn't take my opinions as seriously. Not just my family, but my friends also. Intentionally, unintentionally, I wasn't taken seriously. I was just given that picture that ये तो मजेदार बिंदास है, इससे क्या पूछना, मतलब वो हो जाता है एक start. And like I said, I somewhere knew I had it in me, but at the same time I started believing more that I don't have it in me because I started to see myself from these people's lenses. So
True.
anytime I used to try to participate in a debate, or anytime I used to say something from my own experience, like if I used to point out some opinion of mine, I used to feel that I'm being fake or I'm being pretentious because I told myself that this is not the version of me, because I started seeing myself from people's eyes. So that took some time for me to accept. Okay, and when I accepted this gap, that okay, Ashna, I'm actually seeing you're actually seeing yourself from these people, intentionally or unintentionally, who have seen you in a particular way. I accepted that. Now it was time for me to love myself fully, and that didn't come easy, right? And you have to see what works for you in terms of loving yourself. For me, it was challenging the status quo that was in my life for a very long time. How did I do that? I didn't ask anyone about the midwife. I had an idea. The very next thing I did was I made this page. I was like, क्या होगा ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा? सोशल
Yeah,
मीडिया में पेज जा रहा है, गिन के 10 के
absolutely.
फॉलोअर्स भी नहीं थे मेरे पास स्टार्टिंग में. I was like, what will happen the most? I am trying something new. I am challenging myself, and that was not easy, Ishita. That was not easy. I remember the first few weeks, I cried sometime or the other in front of my loved ones that, am I enough? Do I have this in me that I started something of this potential? Because midwife was what? I was talking to people who have amazing experiences, and I was like, मेरे पास इतना caliber है कि मैं इन लोगों से बात भी कर पाऊंगी, you know. But I kept challenging myself. I kept reminding myself that it's just these small things that will take me to my bigger thing, that I'm just a fraction of who I can become. So
Absolutely.
people who think that they have accepted themselves, their flaws, but don't know how to love themselves, just ask yourself this one question: what you are right now, the version of you that's right now, is that it? Or do you have something more? Because I feel every person listening to this or watching this, has something more, and right now where they are, it's just a tiny fraction of who they can become.
Exactly.
So yeah, so when you remind yourself that you're just a fraction, and when you uh, believe in that thing so truly and completely, and when you challenge yourself to be that bigger version, I think that's when you gain that confidence and you start loving yourself.
And I think this brings me to a very good question that, what happens a lot of time is that when we are following our heart, we sometimes forget following our wisdom as well. So, how to take wisdom and love together? How to bring them to
Can
one
you
canvas?
elaborate this question more? Because I didn't understand the wisdom and love part. So can you elaborate more?
Yeah, definitely. So, what happens is that a lot of times we get carried away. For example, we would be carried away to do a lot of things, but probably we're not getting aligned to our own purpose. Probably midwife, as you said, is something which talks about who Ashna is, who is very bubbly, who is a fun person, who narrates conversations and brings the people working in industry who have potential to become even bigger tomorrow. So that talks about you. So that talks about how wisdom adds value. So how can wisdom and heart together work in such a way that a beautiful, a blossomful career can come into picture, or you can be a better version of who you are.
So, see, I feel wisdom can't come overnight, just like love can't come overnight. Self-love can't come overnight, right? So, I think for me, it's important to just know what are your 5 core values that drive you as a person. And I'm not saying that those values have to be stagnant. What values governed my behavior maybe in my college now no longer exist, and now I have new values in place because I have learned from so many other things in the past 2 3 years. So I think it's just constantly being rooted in what is that value system that you believe in, and in parallel also doing what you love. Like you said, midwife. Now midwife, being in the midwife, something that I love, something that made me realize how much I love myself. uh, I had certain not opportunities, but I had certain experiences wherein I could have done something unethical, or something wherein I could have let go of my wisdom and gone for the higher success, right?
Yeah.
But again, I reminded myself that I am not here for shortcuts. I'm not here to cut corners. I'm here in the long run. I'm here for the long run. I just reminded myself of the beliefs that govern me. I reminded so faith is one thing that I'm truly, uh, subdued in. Like, I surrender to my faith like anything else. Uh, and I constantly surrender to that. So anytime I feel like my wisdom is at stake due to whatever reasons, I constantly remind myself that I have faith in the eternal power. I have faith that something big is waiting. I don't know when that's gonna come. But like you said, I keep that love and wisdom together. That's how it works for me.
That's absolutely true. Like, whenever we carry our thoughts, we need to ensure that the right value systems are kept in place. Like, for example, if I have named myself as Inscribed Happiness, like the page as Inscribed Happiness, I need to ensure that the core doesn't go away, which is like the core
Exactly.
to help people to, give them a purposeful life. So if the core is there and if the core is going to stay alive, I'm always going to grow in my passion or in my arena. But if
Exactly.
it stays there, and then I am building self-love by accepting who I am with my own values and beliefs and projecting them with wisdom. So
Exactly.
that's very true.
Just being authentic, right? Like, being
Yeah.
authentic to your true values and your principles, and it will take you places.
So, like when you were saying this, that you were feeling low, and when you changed your thought pattern by giving yourself constant reminders. So, when you were reminding yourself about those bits and pieces, so what is that one self help or self help thought which you used to give to yourself to channelize that emotion?
Ah, so that's not something in past. I still do that, right? Because I still have some days when I doubt myself. Um, we all have. We're all humans, and I think that's also one acceptance that we need to face. One reality we need to face, that you will have your low days no matter how big you become or no matter where you reach. So what I do is that, see, when I have these doubtful days, I have actually a Friday visualization night. Okay, so let me explain that and then I'll tell you the answer.
Yeah,
So, because it's connected.
yeah, it
So,
was exciting.
so it's something I created on my own. I didn't hear this out from somewhere. So what I do is I have this small diary, and every Friday I visualize one part of my life. Okay, or one, two, or more parts of my life. They can be interconnected also, and I write it down. It doesn't have to be like a page long. It can be even 3 lines, and that sort of takes away the burden of visualizing every now and then, the practice that people have that visualize big things for you. I believe in that, but I feel that that's very stressful, कि जब तुम्हें मन करे बीच बीच में करो, वो नहीं करना मुझे. So I created this Friday and I look forward to Friday then every week. Should I Friday? Oh shit, I'll now write something that I want to visualize. So that's one part. Now the answer is that anytime I feel doubtful, I go through this visualization wala thing. Okay, and then again I go back to the first quote that I talked about right now, that you are just a fraction of who you can become. So that's like my go-to self-talk sentence, that anytime I feel bad, I open this visualization. I show myself, I read to myself the things that I've seen for myself, the things I want to become, and then I tell myself that right now I'm just a fraction of who I can become. And if I continue to do what I'm doing right now, if I continue to try to have an impact, if I continue to grow and learn from people, I will become what I want to become eventually. So that's something. And Another addition, which is not a daily habit, I wish it is, but another addition that I at least every now and then remind myself is that who am I becoming right now? Like if I feel that I'm being doubtful right now, do I want to be this person, this doubtful person? And then again it goes back to that sentence that I'm just a fraction of who I can become. So remind yourself, who are you becoming right now at this point? That will pull you back to your purpose.
Absolutely. And when you keep reminding yourself, you are guided towards, you're guided towards what you want in life. And this brings me to another thing. A lot of people used to question themselves, like, why are they this way? I think the first biggest change which helped me understand self-love better was when I replaced why with what. What is the reason I am this way? What is the reason I'm made this way? And when I substituted, that question to what, it changed the way I looked at this whole situation or the whole me, and it gave me a very holistic approach. So, I also wanted to talk about those 5 principles which I really want you to mention.
The 5 love languages.
5 love languages.
Yeah. So that also has some context to it. So this one time I had a very weird heartbreak phase in my life, and I was this very emotionally dependent person. I couldn't stay in my room alone. I always needed my phone or someone to talk to. I was always dependent. Like I couldn't ever be content with my own company. And I was always longing for more and more, no matter how much I got. I was this very attention-seeking, irritating person. I have to put myself that way. So, what happened after this entire phase of mine, this low phase of mine? I always knew about the concept of love languages, right? So let me tell the love languages. So there are 5 universal love languages, okay? And every love language determines the kind of love you seek in a relationship.
True.
Okay.
Wow.
So these 5 love languages are: 1, physical touch. So if you're in a relationship, you want your husband, boyfriend, partner, or girlfriend to hug you, right? You want your partner to hold your hand. You want your partner to soothe you with their arms.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's one love language.
Yeah.
The second love language is quality time. So what happens is that when you are in a relationship, people who like that when their partner gives them that time without any distraction, when they truly 100% are there present with them, such people, their love languages are quality time.
Yeah.
Then you have acts of service. So if I'm in a relationship, do I want my partner to help me with laundry? Do I want my partner to help me with dishes? Do I want him to go do some errands, run some errands? And that way I feel oh my God, this person loves me because he's helping me out, right? There are some people who love that thing. So that's the third love language. The fourth love language is one second, gifts. So you want your partner to give you good, thoughtful gifts or materialistic gifts, and some people love it, right? Some people express their love through gifts, and some their partners may or may not love that expression, but one love language is gifts.
And
then
I love gifts.
You love gifts? Okay. So words of affirmation is the fifth one, wherein so you want your partner to tell you good motivating things. You want your partner to talk to you all the time about how well you're doing. I'm so proud of you. All these the words basically that really matter.
Absolutely.
These are 5 love languages, and every person has all 5 of them. I'm not denying that you only have 1 or 2. We all have all 5 of these love languages. Yeah, but there are 1 or 2 love languages that are dominant, very dominant. For me, non-negotiable is quality time. Like, I don't care what sort of gifts you get me. I don't care what sort of acts of services you do, how much you talk to me, how much you hug me. I want you to be here 100% with me when you're with me. That's
That's
quality time. That's my go-to love language. So that is something in relationships, right? But people talk about the importance of love language to keep the spices up in your relationship and your friendships. I tell myself that ठीक है, यहाँ okay, justified. I need this person to do this for me. But it also comes back to the very concept, Ishita, that who is feeling the love in a relationship? You are the one feeling the love, right? If you are giving it to your partner, he's the one feeling it. If he's giving it to you, you're the one feeling it. And if you are the one feeling it, then why do you want someone else to do it for you?
true.
Do it for yourself. So if my love language is quality time, I give myself this hour or this day or these few hours in a day wherein I just have myself. I don't give a shit about people around me at that time. I don't have my phone with me. I do something wherein I'm 100% with myself. And that's how I show love to myself. And when you are full yourself, when you make yourself full in a love way, when you are lovingly full through your own actions, whatever love language your partner gives you, whether it's your love language or not, you will accept it the way it's coming. Because you're so full, you don't care about the gaps. You're just like, और मिल रहा है, दे दो, कोई नहीं.
Exactly. And that's how love from the other people should always come, into your life. Like, when you are full to give, no matter what you go, where you go across, or which place you're located in, and who is in front of you, is just going to add some little bit of, chocolate chips to that chocolate ice cream.
Exactly, the sprinkling, right?
It's sprinkling. But the chocolate is complete in its own self. The ice cream is like that.
It's beautifully expressed, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit of, chips which is to be added. And
Yeah.
I do this a lot of times. Like when I feel very low or I feel like other person is not completing me, maybe even my parents, maybe even my friends. Like I expected that this person should at least call me on my birthday. Why didn't I even receive a small birthday present or a birthday? Like probably I don't ask for presents from people, but probably time, which is
some expression, yeah.
Yeah. So time is very important to me as well. So that is what I do is I usually I touch my heart, and I usually imagine there is pink flowing light going inside, and that I experience and visualize whatever I wanted, and I experience it coming to me from me. Like I am buying myself a Ferrari.
That's cute.
And I completed in the way, of course, the imagination should not be so expensive, like expensive in the terms. It should not be very unrealistic, but a clear visualization would always guide you, which is so beautifully said and defined it in such a new way. I really want to ask, how many different types of journals do you have?
I'm not a person who keeps journals, honestly. I just have this Friday visualization diary, and what I do is firstly, if I'm in the mood, I actually, like yesterday was Friday, right?
Yeah.
So what Friday. So what I did was that I started off to write something that I visualized, but I was so happy because of some experiences that I had yesterday. I wrote them down also. So basically, my gratitude journal and my visualization journal is more or less like the same, because whatever I'm in the mood, I write it on Fridays only.
That's good. That's actually a very, very beautiful thing. Like, when I saw your session update like yesterday, and I saw that you've just brought this mic, I think I was the happiest because I understand that probably. So I was like, I really want to make a post on this particular thing that you have finally grown even more bigger. And then I thought, let me make the podcast live, and then we are going to talk about this on the session. So
that is so sweet. Thank you. Really means a lot. I'm so touched.
No, actually, I mean, this is something which is, it actually adds value to our own personification of who we are. Like we are moving towards our brand. So that's how we feel more loved when we are adding some more bits and pieces to that same jar. So I think, yeah.
Thank you. That's really, really sweet and kind of you.
It was so beautiful talking to you, and trust me, I'm taking a lot home. And I do this,
Thank you.
I do this experiment a lot, and I really want us to do this. And
Yeah.
this is just like we used to play, where the other person has to complete the sentence.
Yes.
It. So I do it for gratitude journaling. So whenever I take meditation session towards the end, I do this. So I just want you also to do this. Let's try it, okay?
Done. Let's do it.
So
Yeah.
it's a gratitude thing, and you can go anything. You just suppose I say, I'm thankful to Ashna for being a part of the session. Then you will add the other thing. Then I'll add three things. Then I'll speak the next three things.
So like, so when you say I'm thankful to Ashna for this session, so am I supposed to add I'm thankful to Ishita for XYZ? Is that how it's supposed to be?
I'm thankful to Ashna for the session. I'm thankful to Ishita for this session. Then it comes then I'll say I'm thankful to Ashna for this session. I'm thankful to Ishita for this session. I'm thankful to Instagram for holding live sessions. So, okay.
Done. Let's do that. Start.
Let's do that. I'm thankful to Ashna for this beautiful session.
I'm so grateful to Ishita for having a beautiful page like Inscribed Happiness and a potential podcast, which gives spaces to people like me to bring out our opinions. And that's great.
You made it hard for me to remember.
Go on, walk your walk.
Okay. So I'm thankful to Ashna for this beautiful session, and I'm thankful to Ashna for liking my page Inscribed Happiness and giving me that, that motivation to do better every day. I'm thankful to my parents and for all the followers who are there streaming live.
So am I supposed to add another thing now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am grateful to God for giving me the idea of the Midvibe, because through Midvibe I'm able to meet people like you who are also doing the same thing but in a different way of expression, which is really nice, because then this creates a really beautiful synergy, because you know that all of us together can make such a great impact
on the world. I'm thankful to Midvibe because the origin, and I'm thankful to universe and God for this beautiful collaboration, because today when we are united, giving everyone more purposeful lessons on loving and accepting who they are, we are actually helping them project a different version of they are. So it was good.
It felt great though. This is a really sweet exercise. I think people should do that.
Thank you. And I'm definitely going to inculcate the habit of Friday visualization in my meditation sessions towards the end. I'm going to ensure I add, and the 5 love languages, I think I really want to write it down and ensure that I use it. I practically...
There's a book on 5 love languages. You can read that also.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Done. It was beautiful. It was amazing having this conversation with you. Thanks a lot for being...
Thank you for such intriguing questions, because your questions made me think deeper on a deeper level, things that I didn't think about वैसे, right? So thanks to you actually for opening a few new lenses for me today.
It was a pleasure and glad. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.